Hello everyone, I am here to explain my code for the task 9.2 HD of subject SIT-217. This is my Arduino code that I made. Here first I have declared a character type input. It takes the data from the user using serial available. The serial is beginning at 9600 and the pin mode is set for the motor outputs as discussed in the previous tasks. Then in the loop function, we wait for the serial to be available. When the serial is available, it stores the input value in the input variable as declared earlier. Then I have used a switch case. It checks the value, whatever value it has received. It runs the following functions as given. Now I have a custom run function for this task and I've added it here in the case. The custom run function it starts by declaring string variable called command to store the received command. The function then enters a loop and waits until data is available on the serial port. The serial available returns a non-zero value. Inside the loop, it reads the available data character by character using serial read and appends it to the command string. This continues until there is no more data available. After reading the complete command, the function looks for the separator character using command index of. The index of function returns the index of the first occurrence of the separator character in the command string. If the separator is not found, it will return -1. If the separator is found, the function extracts the direction and time values from the command string using command.substring function and stores them in separate string variables, direction and time string. The time string is then converted to an integer using timestring.toInt function to obtain the duration of the action in seconds. Depending on the extracted direction, the function calls the appropriate action function forward, backward, right or left to control the robot's movements. After initiating the action, it delays for the specified duration multiplied by 1000 to convert it from seconds to milliseconds, using delay time into 1000 to keep the action active. Finally, it calls the stop function to stop the robot after the specified duration. This is my explanation for processing IDE. The code begins by importing necessary libraries, control P5 for creating graphical user interface, and processing.serial for communication with the serial port. It declares some variables and objects that will be used later. For example, serial port is an object that represents the serial port connection, and control P5 CP5 is an object that helps create the GUI elements. The setup function is a special function that runs only once when the program starts. It sets up the initial configuration for the sketch. Inside the setup function, the sketch window size is set to 600 by 750 pixels using the size function. The print array serial list line lists the available serial ports in the console. This helps identify the appropriate port to connect. The port object is initialized with the serial port name COM22 in my case and a baud rate of 9600. This establishes the connection between the sketch and the Arduino via the serial port. The CP5 object is initialized as a new control P5 instance, which will handle the creation of GUI elements. A pfont object called font is created to define the font used for the GUI elements. The following lines use the CP5 object to create different buttons and a text field for the GUI. Each button is positioned on the screen, given a size and assigned a label. The buttons call specific functions when clicked, and the text field is assigned the name custom run field. The draw function is another special function that continuously loops after the setup function. It handles the graphical updates and logic of Sketch. Inside the draw function, the background color is set to gray, RGB value of 100, and the text color is set to white. There is a conditional statement that checks if the is custom run variable is true and if a certain time has elapsed since the custom run started. If so, it calls the stop function to stop the robot and sets is custom run to false. The following functions forward, backward, left, right, stop, and custom run are responsible for sending specific commands to the Arduino through the serial port. Each function writes a specific character to the serial port, which corresponds to a particular action on the Arduino side. The button functions forward button, right button, left button, stop, backward, and custom run button are triggered when their corresponding buttons are clicked. They call the respective action functions forward, right, etc. to send the appropriate commands to the Arduino. The custom run button function retrieves the text entered in the custom run field. Using CP5 get text function, it splits the text into two parts, direction and time, using the hyphen separator, and checks if the split resulted in two parts. If so, it calls the custom run command function with the extracted direction and time values. The custom run command function takes the direction and time values and set the custom run time variable to the provided time. It also sets the custom run start time to the current time and sets is custom run to true, indicating that a custom run is in progress. Then, based on the provided direction, it calls the corresponding action function, forward, backward, etc., to start the action. The control event function is triggered when there is an event in the GUI elements. In this case, it specifically listens for changes in the custom run field text field. When the text field content changes, it extracts the direction and time values and calls the custom run command function, similar to custom run button. The isValid direction function checks if the provided direction is one of the valid directions from forward, backward, left, right. It returns true if the direction is valid and false if it is not. This is the practical application of my custom run program.
उठाया है